So that is absolutely it. Like if we have no one to vote for, then nothing's going to change. So we need people to run. So if you ever thought about even like wanting to make a difference, now's the time. Now's the time to step up. And you don't have to be a politician. I am not a politician in any way, shape, or form, but I'm running for House District 13 as a House representative. Oh no! And I pulled my papers officially yesterday. I walked in and I said, I thought April Fool's Day would be the best day for this. Not that I'm a joke, but that the system that we're working with is broken and it's become a joke. And so the only way to fix it is to get our hands dirty. And I am certainly not a person that you would think of in an office on a regular basis, I've traveled the world as a snowboarder. I worked in the music industry. I toured with bands like the Grateful Dead and Fish and worked for people like Jay-Z and Beyonce. That's not somebody that you would think would be in a state house. But you know what? There's no choice right now. I've got to do this, or the next generation is going to look me in the eye and I'm going to be embarrassed about what I'm leaving them. And so if you have courage in you, if you have the strength in you, if you have any time at all on your hands, you don't have to be a politician. You don't even have to know policy in any way, shape, or form. You don't even have to know what is going on in those buildings. What you need to know is right from wrong. What you need to know is what the understanding of the connection to God, in my opinion, and what is liberty, life, and the pursuit of happiness for each individual being. Because if we know that and we go in making decisions with a good conscience, then we can't be wrong. If we make decisions for what is best for the majority of the people, then we can't be wrong. Because we, the people, have the power, not the politicians. We are servants, and that's how it needs to stay. And so each one of you can make a difference. Each one of you can make a change. Each one of you can hold office, and it has nothing. You don't have to have anything special within you to do that. You don't have to have any extra knowledge that you don't have right now. You can learn all that. You just got to step up, have the courage, fill out the paperwork, walk into that office and say, I'm running for office. So the other part of that is once we have people who are running, we need to have a secure election. We need to have election integrity. We need to know that our vote counts and that each individual vote that was counted is legitimate. And so that's a big part of what's going on, because we know, and who knows how long it's been going on, but we know that elections have been being stolen over and over and over again. And in my opinion, it probably goes back to all the way to Reagan and maybe even before. But for the facts, we know that 2020 was a disaster. 2020 was a criminal act by a cartel that has infiltrated the United States of America. And all of them need to be held accountable, from the precinct district level all the way up to the executive level. And every single person in the media needs to be held accountable for backing them.
Yep.
And we can't step down until this is done, because we will not have a secure and firm election until we know that each person that has been put into power that was part of 2020 is held accountable. We won't be certain that we actually have elected officials who are elected by we the people. So this needs to happen. And one of the people on this island and part of this party who's taken that helm to kind of drive the ship on Maui County is Jennifer. And hopefully if we can encourage her, she'll run for office herself. So I'd love to have her come up and talk.
Good morning. Can you guys hear me? Yeah. Okay.
Hold the mic closer to
All
your
right.
mouth.
These are my protective lenses. You guys can see me, but I can't see you. Okay, so I had a lot of people sign up for
Marty.
election integrity, and I can always use more people because everyone can get involved with this. You can do things like be a poll. Well, they used to be called poll watchers and poll workers, but because we have a system where it's all mail-in ballots with a couple of polling places, most of the jobs are to watch the ballots be open, to be part of that process. And the more people that we have that can do those kinds of jobs would be like more eyes and ears on the ground to make sure that there's no funny business. As we know, that's what happened in a lot of places. Another way that people can get involved is they can be I would call them digital soldiers, someone who can watch or look through some data and find any discrepancies that might be there with who gets to vote and who shouldn't be there anymore because they're inactive or no longer living here and so on. So there's data work that people can do. If that's your comfortable zone, then that's a way of getting involved. And anything that you can do, any time frame that you have, even the little bit, 1 hour a week, or maybe during election time, there's I think 3-hour slots. All of it will help. Every little bit of it will help. So if everyone gets involved, we got this. And if you would like to help, I have a sign-up sheet over here on this table. You can sign up, and I'll send you some information and let you pick how you want to get involved and how much time you have to offer. And with that, I'm going to get rid of this thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. I'd like to add to that. In addition, let me turn this down. In addition to that, the practice of unilateral or just overall mass mail-in ballots is unconstitutional. Right? So, honestly, in my opinion, the first thing that needs to get done is we need to remove overall mail-in ballots. Like absentee ballots by request is what the law has always stated, and to make election day and election month now even longer, how can you secure the chain of custody for those ballots? How do we know that those ballots are coming from the person that was mailed to? I'll tell you a quick little story before I hand the mic off. And I know I try to not talk so much, but geez. I was living in a house in December, for the election of 2020. And in that house, there was 13 people that lived on the property. And the house that I lived in had a lot of people for years living there for 6 months, 8 months, and then leaving. Before the 2020 election,
True story, Eva.
We had a stack of ballots that were, I don't even know how many. It was a huge stack of ballots. And we had 2 or 3 for certain people. Like 2 or 3 ballots for certain people. We had a stack of ballots that was huge. There must have been at least 50 ballots there. All right? There was 13 people who lived on the property, and 4 of which weren't American citizens, and so they weren't registered to vote. But we had 50 ballots.
Wow.
What would have stopped us from filling out those ballots and sending them in? We do not have a secure system to handle mass mail-in ballots, and it needs to be ended. Because there's no way to verify these signatures that they are who they say they are. There's no way to verify the chain of custody for these ballots, which makes that 2020 election, not to mention the fraud, null and void, because chain of custody is paramount to a safe and secure election.
Yep.
So that's something that I really think is very important, that we need to go forward and call for the end of mass mail-in balloting. My partner Amanda, she had a couple stories from some people that needed to be shared, but they didn't want to share it on the mic. So I'm going to call her up, and this is a rarity. We don't bring her. She doesn't come to the mic too often. So thanks, Amanda, for taking this.
Thank you, Scott. Hi, everyone. My name is Amanda, and I am very, very excited to have all of our kind of keynote speakers here today. They're amazing people, fantastic candidates. And additionally, as I get to know more and more of you who've been coming, or maybe this is your first time, I'm meeting some fantastic people additionally who are very quiet badasses. They're not going to get up here on the mic and talk about the amazing powerful work they're doing, but they are doing amazing, powerful work. So I also believe in the power of community organization and sharing information and networking and sharing resources and letting the community know what's going on, because some great work is going on. And some people are literally standing, at the roadside in front of these public schools by themselves, holding signs, who are teachers at these schools. One of these very quiet, big badass ladies is Elisa, right over here. She is a teacher at an elementary school. Her son goes to the same elementary school. She is so done with the masks and what she has been doing since probably
Joe's
this
speaking.
week, right?
I think
Since
he's coming up soon.
the mask mandates have lifted, but they've remained in the public schools for indoors. She's standing out there before school and after school with a sign. And on that sign is something about optional masks, and she has a
Eva, you should
telephone
run.
number for the DOE to call and let the DOE know how we feel about these continued indoor mask mandates at these public schools. She's a teacher there. She has her son there, and I will tell you what, in that kind of environment, that is a local hero, in my opinion. So I just wanted to basically share information as to, the resources that are available and what's going on, because we need to know what's going on this island, whether the people have a big voice or a smaller voice. Additionally, she is interested in potentially getting together some more parents and kids at these events. Which I think would be a fantastic idea. The more parents can know their rights and know how they can stand on their rights, the sooner this stuff is going to be done. If parents knew the constitutions and their constitutional rights and how to stand on that, and knew that they had the power, this wouldn't even be a conversation right now. They just don't know the power that they actually have, and they need the support to have the courage to then walk in that power once they do have the education to know about the power that they actually have. So more kids and more families here, absolutely. For that, we need some activities to keep the kids a little bit entertained, right? For hours on end here. Elisa may be interested in helping to coordinate that. If anyone else is interested in helping to get together some cakey activities for these next coming events, please either get in touch with Elisa and or myself. It doesn't need to be extravagant. It doesn't need to be expensive. It doesn't need to be like fancy. At least, some coloring books and some crayons to start with, right? Any sort of simple craft thing would be great. Michelle is learning about the Constitution and considering kind of distilling a lot of information into a very short constitutional class, basically, to give. So that may be a resource coming up here, extremely important for us to know our constitutions and our rights. Who else do we have? Cynthia and Steve know the Constitution like crazy. Talk about like standing on their rights and in that sovereignty of their rights that they know they have. Badasses. If you want to learn about the Constitution, I would refer you to them. I think that's all of the people who don't get a voice. Anthony, dear brother, he has a great, beautiful story. If you get a chance, talk to him. He's another quiet, badass guy. This woman over here, I don't know her name. I never met her before, but she looks like a badass. She's sitting there taking notes with everything that these speakers say. Lastly, I would like to give Janet a voice. She also she's a grandparent at the same school, and she is done with the masks, and she's got her grandkids here today, and I'd like to give her a few words to speak.
Thank you.
Aloha.
Aloha.
So I wanted to bring my grandchildren. This is Tommy. Turn your sign around. And he goes to Pomakai School. And this is Emery. And they made these signs today. So I'm really excited that they're going to be future activists like their grandma. And Pomakai, something's happening over there. And what I'm here to say is we need to get this going throughout our whole island, throughout our whole state. You know, with the Trump rallies, I was very involved in that. The Trump rallies and the sign waving, we can do the same thing with the kids, getting these masks off these kids. What I just met Alyssa and I just met Amanda, but what I'm thinking of is getting from the medical aspect of, a lot of people don't know, parents, grandparents, regular people like me and you, and we need to know and have this information available, what these masks are doing to our children.
Right.
I mean, it's
good.
just, yeah, it's not, we're not just doing this because we have nothing else to do in life, you know? I want to tell you one quick story. I spoke to a woman who had a child, and she was, of course, wearing a mask, the child all day. This was kindergarten.
Girl,
And
no,
she
I heard you
vomited in
use
her mask.
more worse words than that,
She went
Ela.
home to her mom, and her mother said, "Wait a minute, what's going on? Why is there vom? Why didn't you tell your teacher?" And she said, "Mommy, I was scared that I had to take my mask off." So I'm not saying this to just say this. I'm telling you that we don't see these kids' smiles. They're breathing in and out of, they sneeze. Emery told me the other day, "What happens when I sneeze in my mask?" Well, does anybody know?
Yeah, she's
You know, so I think getting this medical information out from, that's what I'm going to be working on. And also, we have a sign-up sheet. Alyssa is a teacher there at Pomakai. And what I'd like to do along with Alyssa is maybe staff Pomakai 5 days a week and have just regular people like me and you bringing signs, bringing your kids, and standing up against this mask mandate. Because I called, I can't even tell you, for 3 days and got the runaround. Nobody is actually taking responsibility for this. So they're pushing it on to the next, pushing it on to the next. So basically, I know Alyssa's working, she knows a lot more people that are involved and a lot more information. But I think just getting the word out and getting these masks off these kids, I mean, you know, whatever it takes. So I thank you for your time. We have a sign-up sheet, and we want to get the kids out and make
Yes.
these mask signs. I mean,
Yes.
how cool. That could be one of the activities, Alyssa,
Yes.
right?
Yes,
Thank you, and God bless all of you.
it's a great idea. I'll contribute some posters.
Thank you so much. That's absolutely like,
Job, you guys.
you know, huge. It's a huge thing right now. I don't know if anyone saw, but there was I think I mentioned it 2 weeks ago. There was a law that was passed not passed. They tried to push through, and I'm not sure where it's at right now in New York City, to make masks a permanent thing in school systems. Permanent. And you know, we know what the research is. The information's out there, and it's something that we all know needs to stop, and we all know that this abuse of our children, it goes even further than the masks. You know, they're still pushing the vaccines on children in the school systems. They're still pushing very damaging educational platforms about sexuality in our school systems with a law that was just passed. And I'm sure Junior will probably speak about it a little bit just a week ago or so. I can't remember the bill number.
1697.
And no pledge of
1697?
1697, HR 1697. Yeah, where they're actually going to teach, I think it's K through 12. They're going to be teaching the LGBTQ agenda, as well as, you know, sexual choice as young as pre-K. So that needs to change, and you know, that's something that's near and dear to our hearts, because with this fight about, as I say over and over and over again, and I've been saying in every rally for the last year, this isn't about us, this is about the next generation.
Right.
You know, and it starts with the education and the indoctrination with our school systems, are brainwashing these children to the point where they will not even know what freedom
Sounds
is.
good, sis.
If we don't stand up and do something, they will not know what freedom is in their lifetimes. So it's time for us to do the work. And there's been a gentleman in our community who has been doing his part nationally and getting the message out there about the dangers of the vaccination, and the numbers that have been being seen by the insurance companies. And I can't explain it nearly as good as he is, because I'm not a banking guy, I'm not an investment guy, but I'm sure he'll do his message much more justice than I will. Ed, would you come say something?
Yay! Bravo! Woo! Woo-hoo!
Thanks, Scott. Good to be here. Welcome. Thanks for being here. I'm going to break some news that I'm not going to put on social media, but it's good for the local community. We're going to be dropping some bombs on Monday.
Oh, good.
My partner, who's an ex-Wall Street #1